Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yes, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Oh, bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Oh, bim, 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 bum. Yeah, da, 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 bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum, 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 bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Hey, before I make a move here, is there any good news in the house tonight? All right, I'll come down. All right. I will come down. I will come down with my. I think 9 was the record. 9, right? 9 in a row. We're only going to hit 7. So, and it happened in 1912. So it happened in 1912, which means I guess we had global warming then too, right? Hi there. We need your name, Esther, and who you are, and what you're.
Esther Kaufman, and we just came back from 2 wonderful back-to-back vacations. We went to Sesame Place with the kids and the grandkids, and then we came back and went to Maine with Neil's sister and brother-in-law. Well, our youngest grandson, Jonah, is only 18 months old and doesn't really talk, but so excited seeing Ernie that he was gesturing and pointing when Ernie was in the parade.
Those Ernie moments are priceless moments, those Sesame Street moments. Thank you for that. Your name, please, Carol.
My name is Carol Willens, and I'm anxiously looking forward to Sunday when my girls come home from Camp Pembroke. We're all excited. They've written me letters telling me what a wonderful time they've had, and I'm anxiously looking forward to seeing them.
I can't believe they're coming home from camp already. It's like summer's almost. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's 100 degrees on Sunday. So anybody else? Good news? Why are you smiling? I saw a picture of you with a dog on. He's a very handsome dog, by the way. Anybody else on good news on this side? Anybody? Yeah? All right? Yeah? Huh?
My name is Loretta. The pool is fixed, so we can cool off in this heat.
One of the worst things that happens is, when it's really hot, the pool goes down, right? In the wintertime, the heat goes down. So whatever. Any other good news? Anybody else? All right. Well, the other good news is that you're here tonight, and I thank you all for joining us. It's always nice to see so many lovely faces joining us for our Friday night Shabbat service. And so let's begin, page 13, with our favorite, Shalom Aleichem, as we welcome and ask the angels of peace to join us every week, every Shabbat, and hopefully they're here this week. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bottom left, let's read together. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come, let us welcome Shabbat, the true queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her God's angels of peace and of rest. Come now, dear queen, with us abide. Come now, Shabbat, our bride. Shalom Aleichem, angels of peace, page 14. Yidid nefesh av harachaman, Yidid nefesh av harachaman, mishochav dach, eretzonach, mishochav dach, Ya la 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 eretzonach, Yarutz abdach kemo ayal, Yishtachave ya la la emul hadarach. Yidid nefesh av harachaman, Yidid nefesh av harachaman. Let's read together at the bottom of the page the Sabbath prayer. Dear God, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat, page 15. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranna ladonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranna ladonai, naria letzur yishenu nekabma fana betoda, bismiro, nari.
Let's try that again. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria lo, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Nerana Ladonai, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Nerana Ladonai, Kiel Gadol, Arayo Melech Gadol, Akol, Arba'im shana akut bedor v'yomaram toye lebavhem v'hem lo yadu drachai asher nishpati v'api im yevon el menuchati. And now we'll turn to page 19, and we will read responsibly page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai is sovereign, nations tremble. God is enthroned on high, the very earth quivers. A sovereign mighty rules with the love of justice. You alone bring about equity, ordaining justice and compassion for the people of Jacob. Moses, Aaron, and Samuel, God's chosen ones, called out to Adonai, who answered them in a pillar of cloud. He responded to them with compassion, even as you rebuked them for their offenses. Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtakvu lahar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Let's rise on page 20. Mizmor leDavid havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim havu l'Adonai kavod Ba'oz havu l'Adonai kavod shemo hishtachavu l'Adonai beharat kodesh kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim kol Adonai ba'koach kol Adonai be'adar kol Adonai shover arazim v'yishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon v'yarkidem kemo egel Lebanon v'Sirion kemo ben Rehemim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavot eish. Kol Adonai yachil midbar. Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh. Kol Adonai yichol elayalot. Vayechesof ye'arot. Ubhekalo kulo omer kavod Adonai lamabul yashav vayeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai os leamo itein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Maybe seated, page 21, Lechadodi, every other stanza, Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Ishmiyanu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, Mikdash Melech, Ir Melucha, Umitzeim Tocha Afecha Rav Lach Sheve Be'emek Habacha, Vehu Yachamol Alayichem La Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, Hitoreri, Iva Orech, Kumi Ori, Shir Daveri, Kavod Adonai Alayich Nigla, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, V'hayulim Shisa Shosayich, V'rachaku kol mibalayich, Yasis alayich Elohayich, Kimsos Chatan al Kala, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela, Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala. Bohi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzahala, och emunei am segula, bohi chala, lecha dodi lekra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela, Dodi Lekra Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. May be seated, page 23, the Psalm for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, they shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. Four lines from the bottom. Tzadikat tamar yifrach, ke'erez bavanon yiskeh, shetulim bebeit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Seva, Nishenim, Verananim, Yeheyu, Lehagi, Ki Ashar Adonai, Zori, Reloav Latahamo, page 24, my Malachal, Eidotecha nemnu mod levehecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. Page 24, the mourner's Kaddish. Those saying Kaddish or observing a Yortzeit will rise. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. V'alma divrach hirute, v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lomei maya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudusha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiram v'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Let's rise, page 28, for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship, page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevarach. Baruch Adonai HaMevarach Le'olam Va'ed. May be seated, continue silent. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Umavir Umamevi Laila Umavdil Ben Yom Ben Laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Amari Varavim Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu u'vahem nehege yomam v'layla v'yavachata s'mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu havarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shafecha u'b'kumecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafo b'neinecha u'chtavtam amzuzo beitecha u'b'sharecha. Continuing silently by M. למען ירבו ימי בימיכם על האדמה שנשבע אדוני. אבותיכם לתת להם כי ימי השמיים על הארץ. 31 together. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו וסתרתם כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 32. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה בני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכות ראו בניך בוקיים לפני משה זה עלינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי ברוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני Goal Yisrael. And now on page 33, let's read together at the top. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace. Awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, for all his people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. Ushmor tzeitenu. V'voeinu l'chayim u'shalom ve'ata b'yad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch ata Adonai aporei sukat shalom aleinu v'yal kol amo Yisrael ve'yal Yerushalayim. Rise on page 34, Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berid olam olam Vishamru et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berid olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam oti leolam Vishamru bnei Yisrael Hashabat לעשות את השבת לדורותם בראשית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בראשית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בראשית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבב ביעמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו לעילמים כל בחטא ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ימירם בעלמא ויאמרו Amen. The Amidah will be silent beginning 35A or B, your choice, through 38 when you've completed your private reading or your personal prayers with your personal words from your heart. You may be seated afterwards. Page 35A or B. We'll turn to page 38 and we sing Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amecha Yisrael. Bechol Eruv Chosha Bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's read together page 38 in the middle. My God, keep my tongue from evil, my lips from lies. Help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. Ohoseh shalom bimromav. O yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. May the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, and all who dwell on God's earth, and let us together say, Amen. Yishaberach time for those of you who are praying for people to get better, who may not be feeling well. When I stop, you may say the name or names of people that you are praying for refuah shlema. Yishaberach Avraham, Ram Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Yahu, Yevarech, V'Rafei, et kol hacholim b'kila kedosha hakadosh baruch hu yimalei rachamim alehem lahachazikam u'refrotam bishlak lemeira u'refuah shlema min hashemai frat nefesh frat haguf tok shechol Yisrael Shabbat imelizok u'fo karavo lavo hashta b'gav zman kariv v'nomar amen. May God bring blessing and healing to all the folks that we've mentioned, all we know of, those we may not know of. President of the United States and all others who are suffering with COVID and other illnesses, those we know of, those we may not know of, those who suffer illness within the congregational family. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and to vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being together with people everywhere who may be ill. Mi shebeirach avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Turn now to page 47. We'll ask you to rise for Vayachud. Please rise, 47. ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. And as you're seated, whoever is going to be kind enough to pass out the wine and grape juice will do so now. מגן אבו בברו, מחי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לימו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נבוא ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעיון הברכות אל ההודעות. אדון השלום מקדש השבת, ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה, ויעמדו שני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותחלקנו בתורתך. סבנו מטובך, ושמחנו בשועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו, באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך. ואנוכו בישראל מקדשי שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביום יברח רותי וימחלוקת החייכות ומלחמת חייכל בישראל, בגלה וזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולם מעולם. יברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ותעלה שמי לקדושה, בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בימה ויאמרו אמן. תקבל סלוטון ובאותון בכל ישראל קדם ובהון ובשמי ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום רב מן שמיים וחיים עליהם בכל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen. And now we'll rise for Kiddush, page 49. Sanctify God with the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu, b'shabbat kodsho b'yava u'bratzon hinchilanu, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. As we were just doing the Kiddush, you may be seated. Kihu Yom Techila, right? I told you the story about the kid in my former life, my former shul, who asked me a question. He said, I thought you said it's the fruit of the vine, Rabbi. The Kiddush is for the fruit of the vine. I know I told you this story before. And the kid, I said, yes. And he said, well, why do we talk about tequila? Right? So I got an email from that kid last week asking me if I would write him a recommendation for scholarship to college. I should have written the tequila story. I didn't do it. That's something you'll never forget, right? So anyway, every so often I learn something very surprising like that and other things. Sometimes I see things that I had no idea they could be the case. I'm going to give you a few examples of some things that I've learned over the past week or so, or even the past year. Does anyone here know where the word mesmerize came from? Anybody know? Well, it's a word that was named after the 18th century doctor named Franz Mesmer. To be sure, Dr. Mesmer was kind of a quack. Of course, in those days, almost all doctors were nothing more than a quack, right? Medical successes were measured by the least amount of people who were killed. As it turns out, Dr. Franz Mesmer began to push a new healing technique that he claimed he had discovered. He called it animal magnetism. He believed that by sitting with a patient, looking in their eyes and touching them in various medically appropriate places, he could cure them through natural magnetic forces. This medical community did not buy it, but the public liked it. In the mid-1800s, long after Mesmer's death, the term mesmerize had morphed into a synonym for hypothesis. Another example of something most of us will be surprised to learn is the word decibel. A decibel is 1/10, deci, of a little used unit of measurement called a bell. Named, of course, after, anybody know? That may be the case, but who named it? You have no idea. It's named after the great one himself. And when I say it, you're going to go, oh yeah, Alexander Graham Bell. Now, what was that about a beehive? The beehive is of 1 decibel? The same decibel. That's how they get the metric measurement. But Alexander Graham Bell named it. How's that? Another example is the word maverick. Not talking about the TV show. Now, the word makes us think of the fighting planes and that shoots out, but a maverick is a cow with no brand burned into its side or its hide. The name comes from Samuel Maverick, who was a lawyer, a land baron, and a politician who lived in the 19th century in Texas. Though he was a piece of work himself, the term came into our language through his cows. He said he did not want to hurt them with the branding iron People thought he was using his maverick guile to claim as an unbranded cattle he found as his own. For one final example, the word shrapnel comes to mind. As we all should know, shrapnel is metal debris that flies at lethal speeds from explosions. Shrapnel is designed to wound more people than it kills. Why? Because it takes 2 soldiers to take the wounded off the field. It severely injures a few and neutralizes many more. And that is exactly what Major General Henry Shrapnel had in mind when he designed this new kind of bomb in 1784. Now we see how horrible General Shrapnel's invention had become, since shrapnel is what causes the most damage when someone is injured by terrorists or improvised explosive devices, IEDs. I'm sure that most of us assumed that these words came from something other than someone's name. Making wrong assumption was always something that humans did and still do. The great French Torah commentator Rashi believed Moshe was operating under a wrong assumption himself. He explained that Moshe learned a surprising lesson in much the same way that we just did. The difference is the lesson Moshe learned was of much greater importance. What is it that he assumed? Moshe thought that God only wanted sons, men, boys, to inherit property from their parents. The thing is, we're going to learn it this week, when Moshe approached God with the question, Banot Salavachad, the daughters of Salafached, he asked about why they were entitled to a share of the father's estate. So God in Bamidbar 27 verse 7 responded, the plea of Banot Salavached, the daughters of Salavached, is just. As Rashi points out from a Midrash, it is not that God said, oh gee, you're all right. I messed up and forgot to give women the right to inherit. My bad, let me fix that. That's not what happened. In fact, the right of women to inherit from their fathers was already in the Torah all along. The problem was Moshe did not have either the will or the ability to see that. He had to learn it. Like we've had to learn so many different things. In fact, I was just talking to someone the other day who said they have a hard time with all the change that's going on in the world that we're living in today. Very difficult, to deal with all of the changes that we're dealing with. I'm a traditionalist, as she was counted as a minion. A traditionalist who is counted as a minion accepts change. The lesson for us is about keeping our open mind. The fact that one is an expert in the field should never mean that outside opinions should be viewed as irrelevant. The daughters of Salafached, they weren't scholars of the law. They knew, they understood, and they were able to make a critically important observation that even the great Moshe didn't understand himself, and he missed it. Opinion should never replace real knowledge out of hand. But even the professional like Moshe was, must be open to possibility that the opinion of an amateur might also be correct. In other words, my friends, we have to have an open mind and we have to learn from each other. And with that, I say have a mesmerizing Shabbat Shalom. As we rise for Aleinu, page 51. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol la'tekeru la'liotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chalkenu kohem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש Baruch Hu Shehu Noteh Shamayim Liyoser Haaretz U'Moshav Yikarov Bashamayim Mima'al U'Shchinatu Zo U'Shchinatu Zo V'Gavhei Meromim Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ein Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadatayam v'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim imam v'yal haaretz mitachat einod. כי מלכות שכהיל המת תמלוך בכבוד ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Oshemo echad, Oshemo echad. You may be seated. This week the congregation will lovingly recall the yortzites of Susanna Levine, Sanford Rudolph, William Zimmerman, Louis Jacobson, Doris Kittenplant, Minnie Goretsky, Gerald Leventhal, Esther Weiner, Rose Shalick, Benjamin Kemp, Daniel Rosenthal, Bruce I. Schneider, Meyer Lipsky, Rose Krinsky, Eva P. Orloff. Are there any others? May the faith that binds us to our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort as we invite those mourning or observing a yortzeit to rise. Praise God's name with the words of the text. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad divrach chivutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'gala u'bizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yipromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shemei D'Kudisha Barichu. La'ela min kol birchata b'shirata tushbachata b'nechemata da'amiran b'alma b'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. You may be seated, and I'm going to call upon the woman who has the pool that's working. Are you going to invite us all over for your pool party, Loretta Band? Loretta has the announcement.
Shabbat Shalom. Saturday evening services, Saturday morning services are at 9:30. Sunday morning services are at 9 a.m. Evening minyanim are Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. in person and virtual. I'm so excited about the pool, I forgot how to talk, sorry. Weekly at TNT, on Monday we have Zumba, duplicate bridge on Tuesday evenings Israeli dance, Wednesdays total boundary strengthening class. Citizens Inn is having a back to school drive, so please donate new school supplies for this cause. There's a drop box in Founders Hall. Saturday evening, August 6th, we will be observing Tisha B'Av, beginning at 8:45 p.m. with a short Mariv service and Havdalah. Then we will read from the Book of Lamentations. The service will be in person at TNT and Zoom as we observe the fast. Save the date of Friday, August 12th for our membership barbecue. RSVPs are required to attend, but if you know somebody who's interested, please invite them and have them contact the office. You can still sign up for Men's Club Deep Sea Fishing event on Sunday, August 14th. Lunch and Learn is going to take place on Thursday, August 18th at noon. You need to RSVP your lunch order by Monday, August 15th, or there is no lunch for you. Thursday, not October, August 25th, the TNT Religious School will be having an ice cream social from 6 to 7 on our front steps. The event is for current and new students. If you know a family that might be interested in our wonderful school, please have them contact the office. There's a lot happening at TNT, and I got through it even though I couldn't really check. Information for all these events are going to be found on our weekly e-blast, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for that. I'm going to build my sukkah soon. All right. Page 53, Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'yenei el metziuto echav v'yen yachid keyichudo v'gam ein sof le'yachduto ein lo demut haguf v'yeno guf lo naroch elav kedushato Kamon lechol davar asher nivra rishon v'yen reshit l'reshito hino adon olam v'chol notzar yoreg gedulato u'malchuto shefa nevuato netano el anshe segulato v'tifbarto lo kam b'Yisrael Kemo she'od navi u'mahabid et temunato Torah emenatan le'yamoel al yanaviyo neman beito lo yachalifa el v'lo yamir dato le'yolamim lezulato sofevio deyasetarenu Mabid l'sof davar bekadmato Gomer le'ish chesed kimifalo Noten l'rasha ra kerishato Yishlach l'ket yamim meshichenu Lifdov mechakeket yeshuato Meitim yichayel berov chasto Baruch adei Shem tehilato Meitim Yechayel v'roch hasto Baruch adei Shem tehilato. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And for those of you on Zoom and YouTube and Facebook, Shabbat Shalom to you. And those of you on Zoom, you may now wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Stay cool. Great guy. Shabbat Shalom. Very end.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom. Good
Shalom,
luck.
Gail and Barry.
Be cool.
Shabbat Shalom.
Stay cool.
Okay.
Barbara, there's Barbara.
Now there's Barbara.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom,
Barbara.
everybody. Yeah, I guess they're done. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.